Welcome back to another video with me, Diamond Racing, and today's going to be the second video where I rank drivers from 10 to first, give them points like you do in F1, and then there's going to be a championship throughout the whole year, and we'll see who's the best driver when we get to the end. This is going to be the standings before the race, the one after Austria, because I didn't have opportunity to make a video for this. Now that you've seen that, let's get into it. The Silverstone Grand Prix was probably the best one this year so far, with a lot of interesting stuff happening, and Hulkenberg finally scoring that infamous podium. Very happy for him, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future with Audi. I really do hope he can get another one. So, let's get into it. I'm going to give you an honorable mention, well, two, and then let's get into the top 10. But before that, let's just talk about the three worst drivers in my opinion. It's going to be Colapinto crashing in qualifying, and then he couldn't do anything in the race, maybe because of a burnt clutch or something like that. That's what I heard or read. Not very good from him, trying to keep his seat. And then the other two being Hadjar and Bortoleto. Both of them crashing out in the race, and Bortoleto and Hadjar not doing too bad in qualifying, but that race, of course, demolished their whole weekend. Let's get to the honorable mentions. There are two, which is going to be Russell and Sainz. Both of them had a tough time in the race, not too bad in qualifying, especially Sainz out qualifying Albon, and Russell doing actually a very good job going to fourth. Russell made lots of mistakes during the race, maybe wrong strategy, whatever, but he did also make lots of mistakes. Couldn't keep it on the tar for a very long time, and Sainz was just unlucky with the strategy, and Leclerc hitting him somewhere during the race. 10th place was hard to decide, but I'm going to give it to Verstappen above Russell and Sainz just because of his amazing qualifying. The race wasn't good as well, just spinning it on his own. He still made it to P5, but that's a very costly mistake, spinning on the safety car. He did have a bad setup, but that doesn't make it anywhere better. If he didn't spin, he'll probably be like top 3, top 4 maybe, because he did have an amazing qualifying. He was my driver of the qualifying, but he did spin, so what can you do? 9th place is going to be Oscar Piastri. He again, if it wasn't just for one thing, then he would have been so high. He did a good qualifying. He didn't make a mistake like the others did, like Norris, Hamilton, and Leclerc. He also made a mistake, but not as bad. So that's why his qualifying wasn't as good. So he didn't get a good score for his qualifying. And in the race itself, he was very good. He would have probably been my second driver of the race behind Hulkenberg if he didn't make the mistake that he did. That was unnecessary. The braking he did, some people would say it is unfair. If you go look at the telemetry and stuff, you will understand why they gave it 10 seconds, but he made a mistake, and that's just how it works, and that's why he's 9th. 8th is going to be the best rookie of the weekend. It's going to be Oliver Behrman. Good qualifying, really bad practice session where he did something while there was a red flag. I was not so tied up with that. And in the race wasn't as bad as well. Really decent. He just ran into his teammate, but that was more because of one of the Williams like swerving, and he had to like go around on a damp patch, and he just hit his teammate, which I think is unfortunate, but not entirely to his fault. That is why he's 8th. Not too bad for Oliver Behrman. Hopefully he can get more of these weekends. Without the red flag, he would have probably been P6 or P7, which would have been cool to see. P7 is going to be Alexander Albon. He had a tough few weeks, not scoring much points, and 3 DNFs in a row. But he did a good job in the race with the run and everything, not to do too bad. And yeah, he was actually very decent, very quick, and he outraced Sainz, and he scored a few points. I think he finished 8th, so that's very good from him. I'm very happy that he scored some points at Silverstone, and his qualifying wasn't that bad, but Sainz did out qualify him, so that's why he is P7. P6 is going to be Lance Stroll. Qualifying was not very good, but the race, he was fighting for P3 at some point, which I couldn't believe, but then he bent his tires and he just dropped like a stone. Hulkenberg and Hamilton passed him. I'm not sure how far he finished behind. I think he finished behind Gasly and Verstappen as well. I think P7. So which isn't that bad, but His race was very good. His qualifying not. That's why he's in P6 for me. The rest ahead of him was just better overall. P5 is going to be our winner, Lando Norris. Like I said with Piastri, qualifying wasn't that good. He made a mistake on the last few corners, and then he got out-qualified by his teammates. Getting out-qualified by a teammate, in my opinion, is a bit of a minus, but he didn't do too bad in the race. I think he had the pace on Piastri after getting past him. He did show very good pace when it was changeable conditions, not as wet. I think Piastri had the hand there. But you can't say he was lucky when he just did a very good job. Didn't make any mistakes, I think, or just one. I can't think of any mistakes he did. And I think he would have been very close to Piastri if he didn't have that penalty. If he had a 5-second penalty, I think Norris would have still won, but not as convincing as he did. Okay. Before, Fernando Alonso. Very good qualifying, top 3 qualifier in the qualifying. And the race itself, very consistent, very good. He's just popping that car in very unexpectedly in certain places, which I'm happy about. And what can you say except he did a good job and nothing much to say about that. He was just behind his teammate, I think, maybe 2 positions behind, but he did a very good job going from the back to the front. I think he still had a better race pace and a better race, but he was consistent in both the qualifying and the race, which counts more towards him. Let's go to the podium finishes. 3rd place is going to be Pierre Gasly. Just a silent, anonymous, amazing weekend. He did amazing in qualifying, going into the top 10. Then in the race, stayed 6th. I think he started 6th and finished 6th. Yes. That's amazing from Pierre Gasly. Very good job from him in probably the slowest car at this point. It maybe not, but I think it's the slowest car at this point. He's been destroying his teammates, and Colapinto, I was worried for a bit, but Gasly has been very good. That's why he's P3, had a very good qualifying and a very good weekend. Number 2, our runner-up, and please don't kill me for it. It's going to be Nico Hülkenberg. Before you scream, before you type, let me just explain. He had a very good race. He was definitely by far my driver of the race. But he had a very bad qualifying sessions. And my rankings have more to do with averages than performances. Like, you get 25% of the weekend is the qualifying. So let's say he was 17th best and first, you can probably figure that out. If someone did good, like was second in both of the sessions, my second best driver in both, and that person is going to have a low average, which is fair because there's no bias or stuff like that, because qualifying is also very important. I'm happy he got his podium. I'm so happy. I was sitting there the last 10 laps and just hoping Hamilton didn't overtake him. But finally, Hülkenberg scores a podium. He is my number 2 driver by less than 0.25% of an average. So just remember that. My number 1 is going to be Lewis Hamilton. He had a very good qualifying. He did out-qualify Leclerc even though he made a mistake. So that still counts a little bit towards him. But his race was just as good. He was in my top 3. He had a very good race. Look at where Leclerc finished. I know that the Ferrari is a bit tricky to drive in the rain. I've heard about those things. And just understand that he did have a very good overall weekend. So he did a good job in both. And that's why his average was lower. So that's why Hamilton's my number 1 by just the skin of his teeth. But nothing against Hülkenberg. On the average of over the whole year, Hülkenberg will probably win by far over Hamilton. So yeah, let's go check the the championship standings for my rating season. Verstappen officially has 150 points, with Piastri equal with Russell in second with 102. Alonso jumps to 4th with 101, just 1 point behind second place, which is crazy. Albon jumps also to 5th. Leclerc, with his bad weekend, falls down to 6th. Gasly is only 2 points now behind Leclerc. Hulkenberg jumps to second place, to 10th place, jumping over Antonelli and Ocon. Hamilton is finally in the top 12 now. He was 15th, now he is at least 12 with that win. Ocon and Behrman, Lawson all drop, and that's the rest. The three worst are still Doohan, Colapinto, and Tsunoda. Colapinto's on the board because he didn't score any points while he was driving. Let's see who has the best driver lineup with the Constructors' Championship for my ratings. McLaren is so far in the lead with 191. Mercedes don't score, and Red Bull only score 1. You can see that Verstappen and Red Bull have the same score because while Tsunoda and Lawson were driving for Red Bull, they didn't score any points. Aston Martin gain on Ferrari with 128, and Ferrari are closer to Red Bull than they were before with Hamilton's win. Aston Martin overtake RB, and Williams are equal to points now with RB, and Stake overtake Alpine. Okay, cool. That is everything you need to know about this video. When I get to the summer break, what is going to happen is I'm going to do a ranking of the half of the season so far. I'm going to compare the averages and the point score and see which one looks better and which one is probably more accurate. Like in actual F1, the best driver doesn't score most of the points because let's say there's a driver finishing 11th the whole time, which is going to be an average season. But let's say Verstappen does like 3 wins and then 2 like last. You will still have more points. That's just how the F1 works. That's why I'm using the point system that we're currently using, and averages would probably be a more accurate description of where they really are. But we'll see when we get to the summer break. If you do enjoy these types of things, let me know. Who do you think should get more points? Do you think Hulkenberg should have been in front of Hamilton over the whole weekend, not just the race? Because I think Hulkenberg had the best race of his career. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day, and enjoy the 2 or 3 week break before Spa. Cheers.